My sangria. Is this ASMR? I'm in Ireland, it'll have to do. Hello and welcome back. I'm here, unannounced, overly talkative about all things film and movies. Today, we're talking about that infamous nurse herself, Nurse Ratched. My actual Lord and Savior Ryan Murphy came out with Ratched, which is a prequel to the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest film, and it's all about a prequel to the specific character of Nurse Ratched. Now, Ryan Murphy has not done me wrong since season 5 of American Horror Story. Now, he hasn't done me wrong since then, but I prepared for this. Like, I watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest for the first time in my life before watching this show. And honestly, that might have been a mistake. People did mention to me that it really has nothing to do with the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest movie. Ratched in the movie, she is a mystery, and peeling back the layers of a mystery obviously makes it lose its mystery, but also kind of ruins that character in a way. When I jumped in, freshly having watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, that same presence that was Nurse Ratched from the movie was not present in the TV show. So I am presenting to you 15 random thoughts that I thought of throughout the times that I continuously watched Ratched. I think there's a lot to discuss because everyone's in this feeling of either like they loved it or they hated it. And I feel like we can come to a conclusion together to maybe just be neutral about the first season. This is not that good. All right, observation number one, Edmund is a dick, like an actual dick, and I don't think it's justified in the series. And here's why. If you look at when Edmund is first brought into the facility and Mildred goes and lies to work at the hospital, he's just rude to her and he's just like a little brat. And because we don't know yet what happened to them when they were children and what Edmund did when he was a child, we don't really have any sympathy or understanding. We just see this brother sister dynamic where it's like, why is she trying to save this unsavable person, this person who obviously doesn't want to change, this person who doesn't want to respect her? I don't know about you, but I do not buy anything about Dr. Hanover. Like, absolutely anything. I believe his character was necessary, but I believe it was underdeveloped. What kind of really struck me as odd is the addition of his family, where within the last like 2 episodes of the series, and all of a sudden we get a look into Dr. Hanover's personal life before coming to Lucia. And it's just not necessary because when rewatching, there's no mention of him ever having a family. So I thought it was like a really random, kind of unnecessary plot line to put in there. In my opinion, you could have just had him at the Osgood's home talking to Mrs. Osgood, saying that he's sacrificed everything for his practice as a doctor and that he wants to cure her son. I don't think that we needed his family to be mentioned, but that might just be me. I thought it was really random. I think that he just came off as such a naive character. And if naivete is part of his character, that is all right. But the way that it's written just kind of makes him sound really dumb.
You, are you the one who's here for the interview?
Yes, an interview that was supposed to start several hours ago. Forgive me, Dr. Hanover. I know your work is very important, but I too value my time. But I suppose if you were willing to conduct the interview right now, I could try my best to look past the insult. Your office is this way?
Oh, yeah, right this way.
And it makes him sound very frazzled, insecure.
When you have a moment with the governor after his speech, you tell him you've offered me a position here. He will be pleased.
Yes, yes, of course. He'll be pleased.
Him locking Charlotte in the freaking closet after what she told him. She told him what happened to her. And I know he panicked. I understand. It was a moment of panic. But there was also a bathroom right there. Or maybe just like hide on the other side of the bed where the cop can't see you. Like, that was such a dumbass move. The closet was such a huge no-no. Like, that is something I cannot let go of. It kind of goes back to being like more naive and frazzled. The incident at the Osgood was insane. And for that reason, I do appreciate it. I like things that are bonkers. And what I had a problem with the sequence of showing how son, I forgot his name, the Osgood boy, the Osgood child. When they showed how the Osgood child, basically lost all his limbs, I just didn't believe that Dr. Hanover could be so out of it, like so out of it in the sequence that they showed, where like everything looks like a dream, everything is in slow motion. He's tripping, okay, like he's tripping, and I just couldn't believe that he went from absolutely off his face to attempting to sew these boys' arms on. Like, I wouldn't even think, like, in that situation for me, I think it might have been better suited to have been written that he maybe just flees the scene entirely and then he comes, or like, then, somebody finds him and they have to remove the arm. Like, it just seemed too thoughtful for somebody who was off their face. I'm very sad that Dr. Hanover seemed kind of poorly developed because he was a necessary character. And obviously, like, he's very needed in the show. I think the character himself was rushed. 3, they killed Huck. Like, why? I loved Huck. Huck was fine as fuck, okay? Like, I wanted a slice of that huckleberry pie. You know what I'm saying? But in all honesty, he was such a gentle character. He was such a nice relief from all the chaos, and they just ripped him away from us. Whatever. The dialogue felt really weird sometimes. Point number 4. The dialogue felt very weird sometimes.
Should we make this a regular thing?
Well, it sure took the edge off of my day, I tell you that much. You were the worst lay of my whole life.
You have a nice ass. But you know that, right? It's the mouth.
Wherever you end up, whatever you need, I will always be there for you. And I will always love you.
Some of it just felt abrupt, like it felt very like expositional to a fault.
Do you hear me? That is not what my life is going to be.
Why
It
not?
just isn't.
Why?
Because I had an X-ray yesterday.
What? Then I don't have long.
I do struggle with finding a line between visual storytelling and expositional storytelling, but I do know
is the face of a girl who did not realize her camera died. So the rest of this segment will be told through screenshots and through clips from the show. Next point, get rid of the motel owner. Oh my god, I just found her so annoying. Like, if someone came up to me with a shrunken apple like that, I'd freak out too. Like, get away from me. I hope the governor gets gout. Like, honestly, fuck that guy.
Nice to be in your company.
Edmund is my brother.
Well, then I recommend you don't listen to the radio. Was I speaking to you?
You were not. But as head nurse...
Shut the fuck up! Tender as a supple woman. If I was so inclined, I'd eat 2 of them.
I do appreciate how some of Mildred's lines actually sounded like Mildred from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, like something she would have said.
Now calm down. The best thing we can do is go on with our daily routine. All right?
I'm in a state of shock right now. What has happened here is a tragedy.
Me!
Dr. Hanover, you must stop! I will take care of this. You stand up tall and proud. You walk out of this room, face the governor, and you be quick about it. He's waiting.
I refuse to wear this. My entire backside will be exposed.
Any glimpse of your backside, Mr. Bronley, will be brief, as it would cause even the most hardened observer to promptly avert their eyes.
I think there could have been a little bit more of a dig in, no pun intended, on the lobotomy. The way I thought things were going to go is that Mildred would push for a lobotomy on Edmund, or do one in secret to make him insane so that he couldn't stand trial. But the lobotomy plot disappears after the priest gets his, and it has to come back. Supposedly, the series is going to end with Randall and Mildred meeting. So obviously, there has to be a playback to her appreciation for lobotomies at some point. I guess if the show had gone on the road I thought it would, there wouldn't be a need for any more seasons. The small links between Edmund and Randall were very well done, from the costume that Edmund wore for in the beginning of the series to kind of like him being told to act like he's insane so he doesn't have to stand trial. I assume this will come full circle when Randall and Mildred meet. This would also explain Ratched's disdain for Randall as a character outside of him being like a total free spirit, whereas she is really into order. And the most important part, I think, to appreciate about this show and a lot of Ryan Murphy's work is that the most impeccable costume and set designers are hired for his shows. They deserve endless recognition. The sets are so impressive, the costumes are amazing, the colors are so divine. That's the only word I can think of them as is divine. It's honestly such a high quality. The men and women who put the props and the costumes, the sets together deserve so much appreciation and recognition. So those are my observations and thoughts about Ratched. I know some of these were really picky, like to an annoying degree, but overall I did enjoy the show and I did enjoy the ending of the series. And because I like the ending, and because I would anyway, I'm gonna be watching the rest of the seasons as well. The important thing to keep in mind with Ratched is that we're watching the development of a character. So, unlike me, who made a big boo boo, by watching One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest before I delved into the series, you have to keep in mind that people develop, people change, characters develop, characters change. So Mildred Ratched probably wasn't always the way that she is portrayed in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And we're watching the progression of that character come to light. So I assume the last season is going to deal with her in the world of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. We're just watching how that unravels. That's all I got. I don't think I'm gonna finish this, and I'll talk to you guys later.